Okay, let's get the meeting started tonight. We'll all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I've asked Eric Hopkins tonight for opening prayer for the council and also a couple other things.
Good evening. We want to remember tonight Lawrence Smith. He was a long-time county employee, a friend of ours. I think he was 61. He passed, and so we want to remember his family and the service that he did for our community. It says in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." Let's go to the Lord in prayer tonight. Heavenly Father and Almighty God, I welcome your overshadowing presence here this evening. It's evident that where your people are, you will be found among them. We're grateful to be living in a democracy where many play a part in making sure the needs and desires of our citizens are heard and met. Thank you for being a God of love who has freely offered your grace to us through Jesus Christ. In our hearts we plan our course, but may we look to you to establish our steps. I ask that you provide the members of this county council with knowledge that they need to approach each situation in the best possible way. May they make decisions concerning the spending of county funds that are not only moral, but rational. I pray as the agenda is brought forth that each one in their elected position will serve to the best of their ability. And each one of us have come to this room this evening with the individual cares of daily life, and yet we're here to serve. Wrap your arms around these men and women and allow them to feel your amazing love. Help them to know you better so that they may see your presence in the work they do. And Father, give them the stamina to approach each day and to find a balance between work and life so that they will be sustained. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it.
That was great.
I'm going to pass the minutes around to be approved by you in the last meeting. No, because these are perfect. No, yeah. If you see any additions or corrections, point them out to us, okay?
Make a motion to pass the minutes as presented.
I second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Approved. I thought you might want to read them first, but that's okay.
They came in the packet.
Yeah, I read it. Everybody has them on those emails. Everybody's had them in their emails.
Yeah, I read that.
Okay. Do we have any committee reports tonight? I should have asked first, we got any mail tonight to worry about? No mail, okay. Now let's go to the committee reports. Our commissioner's representative.
I'll go unless somebody else wants to, Bob.
You start, and then everybody else can fill in the blanks, okay?
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'll just catch you up on what we did today. Most of you know that we've had a project online across the street of the jail for several years now about replacing the air handling system. And we finally got through a bid process. And long story short, we only got one bid. And this bid came in at $831,500. And this project started out as a $428,000 project about 3 or 4 years ago. So through all the complicated process of letting for bid and the involvement of expert engineers from an engineering company, they have turned this into a much more expensive project. Now, this is not the end of the story. I had, Commissioner Beaver and I had a communication yesterday over the phone with the a representative from the company that turned in the bid, and he feels that this project can be adjusted dramatically. Was that your impression, Tracy? That today's results is not the end of the story. So we'll move forward from here and do the best we can. We don't know yet where this is going to wind up, but we're going to do the best we can to make this work.
Dale, you say it's the air handling system at the jail?
Yes.
What's the problem? Because I wasn't here when it started, I don't believe, so.
The problem is when the jail inspector gets to the far end of the air system, there's no measurable airflow. That's the biggest problem right there.
The guys come out to me with icicles on their nose?
Well, there's that system is the same age as the jail. It's been there since 1989, so, and it's just not what it used to be. So there's some upgrading and upscaling in the fans and such that certainly needs to be done. And I'm not an expert on these things, Bob. So,
but $800,000 is a sizable chunk, that's for sure.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you informed though how this progresses.
Okay. Appreciate
Right
it.
now we don't know where it's going to wind up being. I'm quite certain that we will wind up doing something that would cost much less than that. But going by the rules that we had to play by in this process, this is where it wound up being. Now that we've cleared that hurdle, I think there's an opportunity to go to adopt a second set of rules, especially since we only have one bidder to contend with. So stay tuned.
Okay, no problem.
In other matters, we commissioners approved a contract today with a retired member of the probation department at the request of Ryan Siggers. It seems that the untimely death of Lawrence Smith has left the probation department in somewhat of a bad situation because of the reports that he did. He was the only guy that did them, and he was good at it, and the remaining staff just wasn't prepared to fill that void. So we're going to have Jenna Turner step in and fill in Lawrence's absence and get them through this hurdle. And I think that Ryan, your intent is to have someone hired eventually that can take care of this, right? So they're going to be, this way they're going to be able to keep up with their workload and keep pace with the demands of the court. So,
Do we think we have someone within our system now that could do it, or we're going to have to reach outside to find someone?
well, when Ryan stands up here, I would rather he
Okay, no problem.
explain all that to you, because he is the expert in that field, and he can explain it much better than I can. Okay. We also approved a bid today, or approved a quote from Wholesale Carpet to replace the floor covering, carpet and floor covering on the administrative side of the jail for $18,250. As bad as I hate to spend that kind of money on floor covering, it's vintage to the jail. It's been there since 1989, and it is pretty shabby and pretty wore out, and it's time for...
Is that the entryway you're talking about?
No, that's on the administrative side of the jail, the offices, and what do you call that? Exactly, duty room?
Squad room.
Squad room, okay. If you've ever been over there and seen it, it's pretty wore up. It's got tiles coming up off the floor where you can hook your toe on them and fall down and that sort of thing. So we're going to fix all that. Just goes along with owning something. We approved 144s, 3 144s for Kelly Van Meter at 911, bringing on 3 new part-timers over there, as well as 3 144s for new employees in the clerk's office. And we authorized the assessor's office to close for Thursday and Friday on March 2nd and 3rd for mainly a training event for them on to finish up some work that they have to really concentrate on. The highway department superintendent came in today with he let us know about the need for a distributor truck down there, and to replace the one we've got would potentially cost over $300,000. And we asked him to go and talk to the people about what kind of financing terms they can arrange for us. We don't have the cash on hand or enough to pay for that one piece of equipment all at once, so there's no real decision on what we might do there, but it's a vital piece of equipment when it comes to chip sealing roads. And the old unit that we have, we've spent over $30,000 trying to fix this thing over the last couple of years, and we just can't find anyone that can get it to working the way it should. So we don't know yet how that's going to come out. And we did approve a minor change order for the project on bridge number 90, so that we can sow early grass seed and get the grass growing up there around that new bridge, because we can't sign off on that bridge until we have a good stand of grass, Bob. That's those inspectors don't miss anything. I wish everything was that easy. We also filled, now this is a new one for the commissioners. We filled 2 vacant positions on the Fairview Township Board and 1 vacant position on the Posey Township Board, and there is an additional vacancy on the Posey Township Board that is yet to be determined by one of the party chairs. Now, this is a new duty for the commissioners. This used to be the responsibility of the circuit court judge to fill vacancies where you just didn't have any candidates on the ballot. And that was the situation out there. So we have 1 left, and that's yet to be determined, whether a party chair will fill that or whether we will wind up filling it. So some of these jobs are getting hard to give away. We started the process today of accepting applicants for the FSSA grant program, which will involve the distribution of the opioid settlement funds that the county will receive for the next 17 or 18 years. And I think, Tracy, aren't we having a meeting tomorrow?
11 o'clock tomorrow.
7 a.m. tomorrow?
11.
Or 11, okay. And Tracy is more up to date on this than I am. But the representatives of all the entities that are eligible for these funds are invited, and hopefully they can collaborate in an effort to maximize a a grant program that the state is sponsoring where they're going to distribute a total of $25 million in opioid settlement money throughout the state. So, you know, we're going to be competing with 91 other counties in this. It appears we have a good chance of bringing more of that money to this county, but the applications have to be in later this month, and we'll see where it goes. Hopefully it will all go to the best possible use. Also, and I'll stop with this one. The best news I had the last few days was the long-awaited rural broadband expansion by Charter Communications has finally crossed the county line into Fayette County. And just yesterday, Bill McDaniel green tagged their first electrical hookup down on Ott Road. And I'm very happy and thrilled to see this finally get into our county. And they're down there burying conduit right now and pulling fiber optic cable. And with this very first activation will involve about 40 households in southern Fayette County to have high-speed rural broadband service where you can't even get a cell phone signal. So I think that's great. I'm really happy to see this thing progress, and we're at least over a year behind on this thing.
Yeah.
But it's finally coming to fruition. So I'm really excited about that. And eventually I want to see this, all four corners of the county covered with this service.
It's really amazing where you go sometimes, they don't have service. I mean, our Life Center out the church, they don't have,
Yeah.
just places like that, you'd think they'd have it, but they don't.
Well, this is going to be a welcome step into the future for us.
Yeah.
I'll stop there. Does anyone have anything for me?
Well, I just appreciate your efforts to try to stay within budget and do what you can, Dale.
I don't want to hog the show. Does Commissioner Munson or Commissioner Beaver have anything to offer? Okay.
The only thing I'd like to add is the individual's name that I gave to Dawn, our clerk, is a lady from the Cozy Township area, and she's known to probably most of you in this room, and I think she'd make a very good trustee if it works out. Like I said, at this afternoon's meeting, I'm not sure the legal parameters of how to not use a particular party's candidate and use another party's person, but anyhow, she would be an asset to Posey Township. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to let them work that out, and I'm
Yeah.
not going to try to interfere in that.
Sure.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Dale. Couple items to clear up here. I forgot, does our attorney have anything to tell us important?
I don't tonight.
Boy, I appreciate that.
It's a good thing when I don't have something.
It's a good thing, it's a good thing. Yeah, we're being sued, no, we don't hear that, okay. Okay. And we have Dan Parker here. Dan, you want to give a report?
Thank you, Bob. Good evening, County Council. Just a short little report. As all of you know, or don't know, I will make you aware. The Fayette County Industrial Development Corp, or Economic Development Group, or DBA, we are engaged in business attraction and business expansion and retention activities. That's our main business, but we are also all involved in a lot of other things, as is set forth in our bylaws and the job description that I work under. One of those being the Urban Enterprise Association. We manage that. And I told the commissioners today that because this is tax season, we want to make sure that every person who lives and works in the zone takes advantage of the, what would you call it, Jane, a tax savings or a discount
Yeah.
if they live and work in the zone. And there is a address or a link that you can go to. Jane, do you remember what that was? Just look at the map.
If you go to in.gov, so that's the Indiana State website, and then type in Enterprise Zone Maps. You can type in your address.
Type your
then-
address in.
Yeah, and it'll tell you.
Also
if you're
your
in the zone or
employer's
not.
address, right, if you want to
Yes.
do that. To see if both are in the zone. If they are, then you can take whatever discount that comes to you. I did mention to the commissioners this afternoon that we have had a lot of activity from IEC with RFIs. A lot of them that we've responded to. We've also been, we've had some kind of unusual opportunities that have just kind of dropped in our lap. I had a call yesterday from a guy in Indianapolis that said that Connersville looked like a good place to land his business because of its proximity to Indianapolis and Cincinnati. And I told him of the building that we used to own. It would make a great location for his business, and that was yesterday. After I left the commissioner meeting, I got a message from him. So I can give you this message without betraying any confidences. Dan met with the building owner today. It seemed promising. I made sure to throw in how you've been a help. Naturally, I would read this. Hopefully, I can move my business there. Still looking at a few places, though this one really stood out. So my hope is that'll come, create some jobs and some opportunities. We've also got others that we're looking at. One of the big problems that we run into is we don't have a lot of, we really don't have any municipally owned land that is designated to assist and help out with economic development efforts. So I'm forced to go to private citizens and basically make a deal with them to let us sell their property for economic development efforts. And we've got a few that are coming to the party and helping out, so we use those in the RFIs that we get from IDC in Indianapolis or through other means. We're in the process of looking at a service that would help us find leads. Mayor Frank is willing to participate financially in that effort. And so we together may end up going a different route. Because of our proximity to the interstate, we're at a disadvantage. So we have to sell around distance to the interstate and get people to come here regardless. One of the other things I wanted to mention goes along with what we're involved in. One of our big efforts that we started in 2016 was to make sure that the Ivy Tech opportunity for education continued. It was one of the reasons why we took on the responsibility of ownership of that complex. It continues on today, and it came up in the commissioners meeting. They had quite a little discussion about CDL out of the county and whether or not some of the employees there had CDLs. And there is right now going on at Ivy Tech, many of you may know this, the 160 Driving Academy, which will very quickly help a person gain their CDL Class A. So if you have people that you know of, they're looking for a $60,000 to $90,000 job, here's a quick way to achieve that through this program. I think that is all that I mentioned in the commissioners meeting and maybe a little bit more.
Well, you're busy, that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah, we're very busy. We have, beside myself, 3 other individuals, all part-time, that help out to make sure that things work smoothly. Any questions from council for me?
I've got one, but it's not on the topic you're talking about.
Go ahead, Kay.
Do you have any updates on what's going on in the Eastern Indiana Regional Planning Commission? What the talk is, what you guys doing, talking about?
Right now, we're in the process of nailing down the SID so that we can become an economic development district. Once we achieve that status, we'll be able to go to EDA, that's the federal counterpart to, that's the Fed's economic development, and get funds to help with infrastructure projects, to assist in the some of the administrative for the Regional Planning Commission. So where we do different things to generate funds, one of them being traffic counts. There are a lot of other things we could be doing, but we don't have the staff to do it. So if we can unlock some of those EDA dollars to help us with administrative costs, we'll be able to do a lot more. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but that's some of the things we're doing. We did I think there'll be an article coming out in Thursday's paper that really sheds a lot of light on it. I know Gertrude has really been working at a fever pitch, making sure that this says this comprehensive economic development strategy, that is the SID plan, gets nailed down and that we get that accomplished as soon as possible. Any other questions from the council?
Appreciate it, Dan.
Hearing none, thank you very much.
Okay. Moving on, we don't have any old business to talk about. New business. There's for the last couple of years, we've not had committees set up for a couple items that we need to probably look at. Just a brief history, where I was at the courthouse one day and the lady talked about she needed someone, she had somebody there she wanted to put on full part-time, and been turned down a couple of times. I said, well, come back, and she showed me how important it was to have this person in her office, and she did get it. And if we'd had a committee set up, she could have talked to 2 or 3 people who could have recommended it to us at that point in time, and then we could have just gone ahead and go with business without going all around the room. But we have a budget and finance committee and a salary and wages, and I've already talked to Scott. He's going to think about it, but with him and Kay and Tim, I thought you guys might want to get on the budget and finance. And then where somebody's just wanting more money, that comes up under the salary and wages, and that's Jim, Vivian, and Sharon. And you guys decide whether they can have the money or not. Is that good enough? Think you say no to them, Jim, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have a party.
You'll work with Jane here, because she'll let you know if we got somebody needing some money or something. Just meet a little bit before our meeting here and hear what they got to say and just recommend we can do it or not. You may not meet all year, but if someone's like that, you can do it, okay? I've appreciated what Jeff's done for us and asked him to come back again as the attorney here, so we've been appointed for that. So we're ready to go to transfers and additions and reductions. So, emergency management.
How's everybody doing tonight?
So make your request, we'll tell you how we're doing.
All right. So first, before I do that, I just want to kind of update everybody. So there's a high wind advisory from 7 p.m. tonight till 7 p.m. tomorrow night. So if you have things hanging around your home or something like that, you may want to just bring them down. And then I'm updating my Facebook page with information like that too. Next, I kind of wanted to go over the document that I gave everybody just briefly. So IDHS, I have some contacts there and I talked to them. My predecessor didn't file for the EMPG Emergency Preparedness Grant for salary. They've closed that grant, but I talked to them and they've agreed to open it up and let me apply again. That comes with the 46% salary coverage from the state. So the county would only have to match my 54% of my salary. So that's good news that they've opened that up and let me apply for that. The Assistance to Firefighters Grant I was working on with Jolisa. The deadline's coming up February 10th. And after talking with Chad Rittberger, Chief of Bentonville, he was going to let us apply through them, but due to needing to update their SAM registry and some other issues with deadlines quickly approaching, we don't have enough time to do that. So I'm looking at other grant opportunities to fund some communications equipment, things like that for the county. I've started getting quotes in from Motorola and other companies on what it would cost to upgrade our communication systems, our public safety communication systems. And I'll share more information about that as things develop and we get closer to actually getting somewhere with it.
This has nothing to do with the 911.
It will, yes, it will have. I'm looking for grant opportunities to upgrade our Spillman server and work in a CAD system where we'll have computer drafted messages go straight to first responders, to the fire departments, to their trucks, that will map out their quickest routes to locations. It'll give them need-to-know information on a screen so that truck commander, or whoever the lieutenant is on that truck, will be able to see.
It's good.
Those are just part of the communications that, but 911 is involved in that, and I've been talking to Kelly about that some. So as I find grants and funding opportunities for that, I'll bring that to the commissioners and to the council. So.
Hey Wade, back to when you said who was going to match you on the 46%. What agency was that?
State Homeland Security.
Okay. And when are they going to be able to start doing that?
As soon as I apply. So they haven't opened it up for me to. I just got notification the other day that they were going to open it up, let me apply. But I had to kind of back channel some of the people and talk to higher ups there to make sure that I could do that. So,
And do you know when they'll give you a decision?
yeah, well, they've already given me the decision that yes, I can apply. They just haven't opened the IntelliGrants portion of the grant application. So
Hey, please correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't your question more, when will there be a decision made on whether we get the grant?
oh, we'll get it. It's just a matter of me putting in all my information and transferring the old information that Adrian had over.
Okay, so it's not like it's
No, this
necessarily
is
a
not
competitive situation?
it's not a competitive grant.
Okay.
So this is federal funding for FEMA that passes through the state. The state passes it on to EMA directors.
Okay,
Yeah, not competitive at all.
okay.
All right, just a heads up, next month in March, I'm going to be coming to you again for additional appropriation for field gear and to fund my salary fully, the EMA director salary. Right now, there's $41,400 budgeted for my salary. My salary is actually $50,000, so we're short $5,900, and I'm just going to come and get that. That way, at the end of the year, we're not scrambling to fund things that could have been taken care of earlier.
I thought that's what you was going to pay us to get the job.
Yeah, right. I thought about that. So, but that's a heads up coming. I just wanted to brief you all, let you know that I'm going to be coming back again.
Do you need that ahead of time since you're applying for
Well,
this grant?
No, not the salary. It needs to be fully funded, so
Okay.
Terry doesn't run into issues whenever she's doing payroll or
Okay.
Haley. And
I thought if you were applying for the grant,
Yeah, no,
the
this-
46% that you would need.
no, we still have to have it fully funded,
Okay.
and then that money will just take off of
Okay,
that.
thank you, Wade.
So, all right. The USDA grant. So this is the reason, that, the main reason I'm here tonight is to ask for an appropriation of fundings for an emergency management vehicle. Our current vehicle, I'm going to make a recommendation that we donate that to the county fire and let them do auto extrication training on it. I don't want to sell that or give that to somebody because the liability then would fall back on the county, giving somebody a lemon that might cause somebody serious damage. So, but with that, I applied today. I sent it to the USDA, the application. If we're awarded, that will pay 35% of the vehicle. But in the meantime, we have to appropriate the funding for the vehicles so the USDA knows where that funding's coming from. Currently, there is no funding for an emergency management vehicle. I'm asking that you guys appropriate $50,000 towards that vehicle. Now with the funding from the USDA, that will reduce it down to around $44,000 that the county's funding, $15,000 for USDA. Now, that's not the total cost. And what I've done is, because of supply chain issues, cost changing, I've added a little bit of funding, and I think it's less than $2,500 to that overall cost. So I'm requesting 50. I think the total is like 48, including the light siren and graphics packages.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Shane, isn't that what Adrian's asking for? We wanted to wait until we had the new director to,
Yes.
so that's
So we
really
can
not
pick
really
out what-
additional that we hadn't already planned on. It's just something we
Right.
wanted to wait till you came in. So.
Right.
Okay.
And the vehicle, I think Adrian would let you guys get a SUV or something like that, but that's not what an EMA director needs. An EMA director has to pull trailers in emergency response. We have to be able to haul equipment. Let's say the county fire or the city fire is out on an extended house fire, and they're going to be there for 10 hours. They're going to need equipment, water, food, things like that, and I need to be able to haul that to them, as well as rehab trailers, things like that, that I will be applying for funding for. So I have to have the tow capacity for that.
So Reedman's the only place you got the quote from?
No, so I have a quote from Chrysler in Shelbyville. Their truck was $40,665, and then I also got reached out to Larkin Greenwood Ford here in Connersville. They will not quote me a price because they have not released their response truck pricing yet. She sent me a document that has numbers on it, but she said those are not the actual numbers. We couldn't use those to quote a truck. And she says until Ford releases that, and due to supply chain issues with the F-150s, she doesn't know when that's going to happen. So those are the three quotes that I went after.
At this time, I mean, this is much more than what we had already planned from last year. Do I have a motion to,
Can I ask a question
Sure.
before we do that, Bob? Do you
well,
mind?
let the school question. No, go
Okay,
ahead, Scott.
all right. And I know this is kind of something that we had talked about and planned for and that kind of thing, and I clearly understand that the vehicle you have, we can't use it.
Right.
And that you need a truck, right? But circumstances have changed with our revenue stream.
Okay.
And big time. And I have encouraged the commissioners to begin the process of trying to reconfigure how county government operates. We're going to have to really cut expenses at some point.
Okay.
It may not be this year, maybe 2 years from now, but I've encouraged them to begin the process. Do we have to have a 2023? Is what I'm getting at.
Well, I'm not opposed to a used vehicle if it's a good shape, but I don't see too many of those around. And when somebody has a truck for sale, those are usually, the used ones are quickly bought up. And I don't even know if the USDA grant will
Would cover it?
Right.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, I do appreciate all your work with the other stuff a great deal. But I'm concerned about our expenses big time now.
Not that great for everybody.
and I totally understand. I'm not rebutting anything you
No,
said.
no,
Here's
no.
what I'm going to say is, if something happens, you're going to be concerned about the citizens, if it's
Sure.
a public safety emergency,
Sure.
rather than the finances at the time.
No, agreed,
Right.
agreed.
It's just one of those necessary evils, probably.
Right.
And again, I want you to have a good truck that's reliable and that kind of thing. But money's only going to go so far in the future. And there's been big changes to our revenue stream, our future revenue stream. So that's what concerns me about this number now.
Sure. It's understandable. I'm a little more fiscally conservative.
Well,
Some people.
and like I said, I appreciate
So-
everything you're doing with the
Right.
grants.
But I don't spend frivolously.
I know you, and I'm not saying you're not.
Right.
And I appreciate you going to get 3 quotes.
I'm happy to answer any other questions. This, to
Well,
me,
again-
in emergency management, this is something that we're absolutely, we have to have this. It's legislated, we have these positions for emergencies. And without the tools and resources to do that, it only handicaps Fayette County.
Tim, don't you know of a supplier?
This, I give
We've
him the
talked to you,
contact
yeah.
information.
So I'm gonna reach out and see.
If the grant
Right.
will support a used vehicle, it's, if I'm correct, that's where the city has been getting theirs.
Right, and I'll talk to Laura Hammond at USDA tomorrow during business hours. I didn't want to try to call her this evening after we had talked. And I want to make sure, because if it does and they have a great vehicle, I'm not opposed to that.
With my discussions with Chief Bolos, that it's quite a savings.
Right, and that would be great. I'm all about saving money. And then I have a little bit more after we finish this discussion. I think because of the intent to apply, the legal notice we publish in the paper, we have to open it up for public comment briefly. So I just want to make sure that you all are aware of that.
Okay, any further discussion? We have a motion to approve the funding.
I feel like we ought to table that until we find out, if he can find out if that will support a used vehicle.
Bob, can we approve up to $50,000
We can do that.
and then let
That's
him?
what he's doing here, I think, basically up to
Yeah,
50,000.
the money's not spent. I have not ordered a truck yet, so this is just appropriating.
Well, I like to make, he needs a vehicle. I like to
Why,
make.
he needs a vehicle.
Yeah, I want to make a motion to approve $50,000, up to $50,000, with the caveat you look into some good used trucks. Now, I might add, my son-in-law purchased a 2020 F-250 diesel 4-wheel drive, and it was a 2020, not a 23, and it was well under that $50,000 mark. It was excellent condition. So they're hard to find, but they're around.
Jeff, can we do an additional appropriation with an up-to motion?
It's not typical, because I don't know what we appropriate. I think it'd be better, this is probably a better question for Jane, honestly.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you need, I have to have a dollar amount because it has to be entered in Gateway. And then it has to be approved at the state level. So, I mean, I can't do an up to. I've got to do a.
How much time do you need, Wade?
I've already applied for the grant. I sent it out today, and they're going to want to know that money is available. If she's as fast as she has been, she's responding in like hours whenever I send her emails. So I may know something tomorrow or the next day. When I talked to her yesterday, she said it was very likely that we would get the grant.
How long will it take you to check on what Tim was talking about?
I'll make a phone call. He gave me the number tonight. I'll make a phone call tomorrow morning.
Now, the other thing, just because we appropriate it doesn't mean we ever have to spend it.
Right, yeah, I mean, if
Just
he gets
because
the
you put it
35,
in
that
there.
goes back into the general
I
fund.
mean, I'd just make sure the record's clear that you don't want him to spend anything yet. I mean, we can always take it back.
Yeah. We're just saying up to that figure.
Well, we can't do the up to.
Jane
We
said
gotta
Right.
do the
Have to
can't
do
do
that,
that
right,
to,
exactly right.
that we have to do
Yeah, you have to
appropriation
appropriate
of
the
So
50,000.
you have to appropriate the 50, and then we go from there.
But tell him.
But it doesn't
But he doesn't have to
necessarily
spend it.
have to be
Right.
spent.
Right.
Right. We just have to say it's there.
Well, I'll make the motion to grant the $50,000 for his service vehicle.
Have a second?
Jeff, who will make the decision if money's to be spent or not? Who makes the final decision? Commissioners? That's what's being left open.
Yes.
So, so he
you're
would,
you're appropriating the $50,000 that's there, because that's your role, is to
right.
move the finances. And
They'll
then once
give for
it's
20,
there,
they'll give for
the
20, right,
commissioners
Dale?
will be the ones that will make the decision.
If we can avoid spending 50,000, we need to.
So we've already, voided if we're awarded this grant. So that's 15,500.
Well, and I understand that, but we
Right.
need to be less than that if we can.
I think what Scott's referring to is the future tax money coming in. I agree with him.
Or not coming in.
No, wait.
Yeah, not coming in.
Well, it's not, believe it, it's not coming to the
That's
city
not-
either.
that's radio.
Problem.
So, that's one I
Do they
agree
understand
with
Oh,
Scott.
I can ask.
Well, we just gotta be careful.
Yeah.
And I do want to make sure you guys are very clear on what I'm asking for. The price that I've quoted and that I've asked for includes the vehicle, the lights, the sirens, the graphics, and the radios.
Gotcha.
So that's the total package.
Right.
And the contact that I have given you, if I understand correctly, already has the car loaded.
Right.
And
Hopefully
the price
I
range,
honestly hope something like that works out, and USDA says, yeah, we'll go for that, because I'm all about saving the county money.
and the price range has been from 25 to 30 grand.
As long as the vehicle will work for my needs and
Sure.
for the county needs, as a response vehicle, I'm not opposed to it at all.
Okay. We still need a second on Vivian's motion.
Before we do anything, I mean, because you just made these committees for budget and finance and for salary and wage, can he not get with those three people, the budget and finance, and discuss this after he finds out through, in that whole idea of having that
We
committee?
can't approve it though.
Yeah, we have to approve it
We
here.
have to prove it
It
here.
has to be
And
approved.
he can't get the grant if the money's not appropriated. So
Right.
if you don't approve this appropriation, he's gonna have to withdraw his grant
And you
application.
won't get the grant,
How
you
long's
won't
the
get the
window open
35%.
on the grant?
I have no idea. Whenever she makes a decision, I assume.
I'm sure there's an end date.
Well, no, because it's a perpetual grant, it's always open. So there is no end date, but I have applied for it. So there'll be a date that they say, yes, at this date you have the money.
Now, believe me, I've pinched pennies for 50 years. I know what it is to meet a budget, but there are some things you have to pay for the good of the community and for good of our citizens here, so.
And I might add, I am looking for funding for other things through grants that will save the county money. It just takes time to apply for these things. It doesn't happen overnight.
Ben, can we table it for 10 days and come back?
10
We
days.
have to have a special meeting.
We have to wait, you have to advertise for 10 days, because as soon as we get a meet again.
Well,
Well, maybe in St. Pete with that.
how about this? Commissioners, you know how we feel. I mean, you've heard a bunch of us say, we understand he needs a vehicle, that's not the issue. We understand that you gotta pay for, I mean, the vehicle he's got is gone. We understand that. If he can get, the intention of this council, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is that if we can find something that meets Wade's needs and have it be a little used, lightly used, right? And we can save a little money. Commissioners, we want you to do that. So I'll go ahead and second her motion, but we're counting on you three to kind of follow the lead here.
Dale, did you hear that?
I heard it, I got it wrote down.
You have no problem with
All right.
me. These other two you can't trust.
So I'll go ahead and second Vivian's motion, okay? For the 50,000.
Okay. Okay, motion has been made and seconded to approve the $50,000. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, you got anything else for us?
I do.
I'm so afraid of.
Yeah, and this is not a request
It
for
don't
money.
cost us anything, is it?
So, so according to Indiana Code 1014-3-17, I have to have a Fayette County Emergency Management Advisory Committee. And what that is it'll be the president of the commissioners, Dale Strong, the president of the county fiscal body, Bob Stewart, Mayor Chad Frank, an individual representing the legislative body, and I've asked Commissioner Beaver to be that. And then I need, and I'm talking to a few different people, I need a representative of private and public organizations. and the commander of the local civil air patrol, which we don't have. So I've asked Tim Patterson if he would fill that role, as he's on the airport board. This committee, according to the legislation, will exercise general supervision and control over the emergency management of Fayette County. That being said, I've also organized our local emergency planning committees, our LEPCs. I don't know if you're familiar with the terminology. I've asked Sharon to be on that committee and several others. But that committee stood up, and we have our first meeting February 16th over in my office on the second floor. And I invite anybody, if they want to come and hear what that is, to come up at 6 p.m.
What date was that?
February 16th. And what the LEPC committee does is helps develop all emergency planning operations in the county. So we'll develop plans for responding to tornadoes, to outbreaks, to COVID, flu epidemics, things like that. We'll plan those and write those plans and add those to our threat hazard identification, risk and analysis documents, which is tied to funding from state and federal government, that we have to have those plans.
Just don't say because that's where the money comes from.
It is, right.
OSHA.
And you didn't have those already in place?
So I'm just going to say we have a brand new team starting.
That's why we have one.
Right, and with that, we also need to do the local, or the Emergency Management Advisory Committee. And this committee will meet probably quarterly, and what this committee is for is when we have an emergency and FEMA shows up, or State Homeland Security shows up to assist us, they're going to want to talk to these decision makers to make sure what they're implementing can be done and funded immediately. And what FEMA usually does is, in the event of an emergency, let's say we had a bird flu or something, Fayette County may have to foot that bill temporarily, but FEMA would be asking this committee to fund certain operations, whether that's paying first responders overtime or something, and then FEMA would reimburse us. So, but that's the typical kind of interactions that you would have on that committee in the local.
Where's that funding come from? City and county?
Federal, usually.
We had to fund them until they came in, though, you said.
Yeah, possibly. Let's say we have an extended house fire somewhere out in the county, and we bring in a bunch of people and departments, and they're there for hours. We have to feed them, give them water, rehab them. So funding would be buying something for them to eat, within an 8-hour period. Maybe throwing up a tent somewhere for them to rest and rehab and get warm, things like that. So,
are those items, Jeff, that the city and county need to put in budget just in case?
I don't know if they need to. There's always pools we can pull from. I mean, I don't think you want to have a specific line item for it, because I don't know how you.
And I can tell you, I'll be purchasing some of these items through grant funds. And I didn't mean to
That's
interrupt
what
you.
Rush County
So,
did.
yeah, like a command trailer, rehab trailers, things like that. I'll be looking for those and trying to get grant funding to purchase
Cover
those. And
those.
there's a lot of FEMA money out there.
And
for
respirators too, and do they
Air
come
packs,
under?
are you talking about for firefighters,
Uh-huh.
SCBA?
Yep.
You can get those, but those are typically given through Assistance to Firefighters grants.
Okay.
So you have to be a fire department to be able to apply for that,
Okay.
or a non-affiliated EMS. So for those type of fundings, that you have to be a fire department to apply. I am trying to work out a deal to where we can apply as the county for our volunteer fire departments and
Good
not
job.
take away. They have opportunities, but if I apply as Bentonville for the whole county, then that takes Bentonville's ability to apply for themselves away, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to work out an arrangement with Jolisa and with the county fire departments, the city fire department, where we can work together to apply for the things that we need in the county.
Very good.
Okay. That's it?
That's it.
Thank you.
Is that enough?
Doing a good
That's
job.
enough for
Thank
now.
you, Wade.
More to come.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Animal shelter.
Evening. Hi, guys. I really get a little nervous, okay, until you used to.
Don't get nervous, Dan.
I'm not now. I'm
Okay.
not. Calm down. I want to appropriate $20,000 over to from my donations over to my bed account. That helps us on to getting the animals spayed and neutered that is required for us to do it. But that money, whenever we adopt them back out, that money go back into the donation. So we're not losing money out of that. And I also want to appropriate, I'm saying this right, Jane, right? $5,300 over to my equipment out of the donations, or put a flatbed on our silver truck.
5,300, we advertised out of county general.
Oh, you did? Okay,
Not,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Not out of donation.
Okay. Thanks, Jane. Sorry. Appropriate $5,300 out of the general donation for a flatbed for the silver truck, so we can use that or put a winch on it so we can use it for deers, picking deers up out of the county and out of where we need to. We can use it to I want to put like some dog boxes on it so we can use it for transport more. Instead of just 6 animals, we can do like 8 plus cats. That's what I want to try to get done. But it's up to you now.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion on 20,000. All that money's donated.
Yes.
I was up there the other day, somebody donated a bag of dog food, so I guess you ate it that day, I don't know.
I'll second Jim's motion on the 20,000.
But on 5,300, since it wasn't posted correctly, we'll have to do that next meeting, wouldn't we?
No, it was properly
I'm
advertised, he
saying
just
it
said
wrong.
it wrong.
I'm
He
saying
said
it
it
wrong.
wrong.
It was
I'm sorry.
advertised correctly,
Yes.
to come out of
I'm
county
sorry.
general.
I did it wrong.
Yeah, that's right, for the county general.
Okay,
Thanks, Jane.
I'll make a motion on the 20,000.
Okay, and I'll second that 20,000.
It's been made second on the $20,000 for the animal shelter. Can we, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, okay.
And
I'll make a motion to do the 5,500,
5,300.
5,300 additional appropriation.
Yes.
That's coming out of county general, not coming out of donations.
I worded it wrong then, I did. I'm sorry about that, guys.
I'll second that.
Okay, been made and seconded to take it out of county general for the additional $5,300. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, okay.
Thank you.
You're ready to go.
Hey, how's the cat situation up there at Walmart?
Well, I hope it got better now with that truck coming, that shelter coming.
Well, we took, it's getting better. We took five out of there right away, and people are starting not to feed them up there. Plus we've been trapping a couple other places, trying to help other people out. Like a man and a wife, they have, one of them had Alzheimer's, the other one had to go to a home. So the ones that they was feeding, we're trying to help out the family because they don't live here. So we've been helping them out, get them out of there too. But we are still working on a little bit more on the Walmart. I haven't seen that many cats lately. So we're still working at it. There's plenty of cats. But if anybody wants to try to help them trap around their houses, we do got traps you can use. Just you can use them and bring them back, put the cat in them, we'll take care of them. Okay?
Hey, Bob, I think we voted on Kay and Tim's motion on the 5,300, but we didn't vote on Jim and I's motion on the 20,000.
You voted
did?
on the
Yeah,
20,
we
we
did.
haven't voted on the
Yeah.
53.
No, I thought we just did the 53, not the 20.
No,
No, we just did
you
20.
voted on the 20, because you did it
All right.
first.
Didn't we have a motion on the 5,300 too?
Yes.
Did we vote on that? I thought we did.
I thought we did too.
I thought we did too.
I thought we
We
did
did
both of them.
5,300, but not the 20.
We voted on the 20 first.
All right.
We voted on
All
the
right.
20, I know we did.
All right.
I'm gonna double your
Okay,
amount
you're
just because we vote 3 times on it.
Start making me sweat
We're
here.
sweating over there.
You're okay, okay. All right.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
All
Okay.
right, thank you guys.
Okay, now area plan. This is contractual services. This would be the ones filling in or Bill while he's going through a knee operation. Anybody have Mary Plan here tonight? Or we just had to vote on it? Okay. But this has already been contractual services, correct? So do we have a motion for that?
Make a motion for the additional appropriation for the 5,000 for,
Okay. Have a second?
So moved.
Okay, all those in favor of $5,000 for the contractual services, that's area plan, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Scott, is that you?
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, additional appropriations for the shelter donation funds, animal shelter donation fund. Wanting $20,000 for that. That's up, we already approved that, didn't we?
Yeah, we already done that.
Right. That's where you got mixed up, Scott. It was already down here on the list. Okay. Okay, transfer from county general probation account, officer to account for contractual services, $40,000. You stayed awake, congratulations.
Yes, I did. Nice to see you all. First of all, I want to thank you all for the kind words about Lawrence doing the devotional tonight. We're all still pretty wrecked about the thing. We would be asking to move this money not out of county general, out of the pay line that was designated for Lawrence, into a line that we could use to pay out for the part-time temporary position that we've had the commissioners agreed to create for Jenna Turner to come in and essentially jump onto a moving treadmill to keep this going. Lawrence had 3 pre-sentence investigations started. One is due Friday for a sentencing hearing. He has a total of 10 due between now and the 3rd week of March. They are, if you've never seen one, Mr. Wesling can attest, they are anywhere from 40 to 50 pages long. Each one, they are complete criminal history, personal histories, victim notifications, everything that has to do with the case has to go into these. These are required by law on all level 5 felonies and up, and certain level 6 felonies as dictated by the courts. He was the Picasso of this. You would go to court when you would have these with him, and whatever that said on that paper was the gospel. Everyone just, okay, that's how much credit time this person gets, that's correct because Lawrence did it. That's what his criminal history is, it's correct because Lawrence did it. To replace him is impossible. He had been a probation officer 1 month longer than I've been alive. He's forgotten more about the law than most of us will ever know. So to at least have someone, Jenna did do this job full time. She wrote PSIs years ago before she went to juvenile probation and became our chief for a while and all that. That was actually her job. She did it for quite a while. So she's someone that I know knows every single step of what has to be done. NCIC checks, ran through dispatch. You have to get with CASA and victims assistance to make sure if there's a victim involved that they've been notified. If they have anything, impact statements that has to be put in. She knows the step-by-step of how to do it the way that is legally required, and then most importantly, the way justice requires and the way the court wants it to be done. The court has been more than gracious with us, offering continuances and things, but that doesn't solve the problem. That just pushes it further down the road, and it's just going to build up. Lawrence was doing, on average, 80 to 100 a year of those. Last year he did 77. I looked our stats up that I turn into the state at the beginning of every year. So I rounded that number up to 80. We came up with a pay number. I actually had a college professor that used to do that as kind of a side hustle back in like the early 2000s when she was finishing her PhD, wasn't working full time. She was a chief probation officer for Grant County. In the early 2000s, they were paying her $300 a PSI, finish, start to finish. They take anywhere from 10 to 15 hours to complete. Judge Fried and I sat down, and he just ran it through an inflation calculator. In 2005, what is $300 today? And it was $453.18. So we put $450. 80 times 450 is 36,000. We had significantly more than that budgeted for Lawrence's salary due to his 37 years of experience. So what I'd like to do is move that 40,000 into that line so we can pay for Jenna, hopefully for only a few months, so we can get someone in there trained that can take over for her, learn what we can from her, and then she can go back to her retirement, which she thoroughly enjoys, but is more than happy to help us. I mean, she worked with Lawrence for over 25 years. She's very
For anybody that knew Lawrence, we all,
yes.
yeah, he's a wonderful guy. So that's really, we're miss him, so.
Real quick, Commissioner Beaver and I worked with Lawrence for a different employer many years ago. And Lawrence was an important member of a team, whatever team he was on. And not to mention, what a good man, a really good man. And so my condolences to your department.
Well, I had Lawrence on my 1976 All-Star team at Albany.
That's right.
And down 3-2 to the defending champion Bloomington team, and Billy Mackey gets a base hit, put Joe Larkin in to run for him because he could run. Lawrence to line drive to right field. Joe standing on first base jumping up and down. I said, "Can't move." They cleared the fence by 2 feet, and he was a heck of a baseball player too.
He's told that story before.
Did he? Oh, it was something else, yeah.
I know until up to a few years ago, he could still grab the rim on a basketball goal.
Yeah.
He knocked Bo Isaacs down when Bo was still in high school. Bo was, varsity basketball player. He could have probably played in college.
So-
Hooped all over him in his 50s.
The problem, and I don't know whether it's a problem, we advertised for something different than what you're asking for tonight. Right?
No.
Yeah, I noticed you said it for
No,
come
it's a-
out of
it's a
county general.
transfer.
Yeah, it's a
It's
transfer.
a transfer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't,
Oh, okay.
it doesn't have to be
Sorry, so sorry.
advertised.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, we just want to
Okay.
make sure that money's there so Jenna can help us until we
Do I hear a
get
motion
our feet
to
on
approve?
I'll make a
it.
motion to approve the transfer for $40,000.
Have a
Second.
second. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Okay, good luck to you. Okay, tough job. Okay, Matt?
Matt's not here.
Oh, okay, 144, need transfer of funds?
Yeah. Did everybody have a chance to see this ahead of time, or do you understand? When we did the salary ordinance, some of the grant employees are not included on the salary ordinance, and so what happened in the health department, he actually has 3 full-time nurses down there. 1 got a raise, 2 didn't. So the one who's paid through the county got an increase. The 2 that were paid by grants didn't. So this is similar to what Brandon Burgess brought to us at the last meeting, where he was paid through grants and wasn't included on the salary ordinance. So what Matt is asking for is that we give increases to those 2 nurses, the same as what the other nurse got. It's $2,000 for each of them. And then also Alvin Day, his part-time person, most part-timers in the county got an increase, and so he is requesting an increase for Alvin also.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the?
I make a motion to approve Matt Shirk's request.
Okay, second?
Second. I'll second the 144.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Well, any other business before the council tonight? That's it.
Nobody else?
Anybody want? Is Sheriff Department okay? They already left? Okay.
Yeah, we're good. I just came in case anybody had any questions. I'm here just in case.
Oh, okay.
And John Clark just wouldn't come back and visit all.
I'm here for the 6:30 meeting.
Do I have a
You
motion?
couldn't stay away, huh, John?
So moved.
A second? Okay,
Second.
we're gone. Thank you for coming. Appreciate all your reports.